Welcome everybody to another Tech Tip Tuesday, rounding out the end of January here, which is fun. In Washington, it's nice and chilly and cold for the wintertime, and I guess that so it is in Florida too, where Jake
Yep.
and Henry are. So, hey everybody, my name's Ken Close. I'm a Healy World member, just like most and lover of this technology. I get to be joined by our awesome co-hosts, Jake Barron. He is the global head of operations and business development. Hey, Jake, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Ken. Hello, everyone.
Welcome, 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 as well as our awesome Henry Pena. He is our global onboarding specialist. Now, global, remember, this is planetary, everybody. So, hey, Henry, how you doing? Welcome.
I'm
Yep.
doing
And
excellent,
actually,
Ken. Thank
so
you so
so
much.
Ken, today is actually a very big day. It's a special day because it's Henry's birthday today.
Woo, woo, woo.
Uh,
Everybody, let's
Happy
shout out.
birthday, Henry. Give him some love in the chat here.
There we go. Shout out to Henry. Happy birthday, young man.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you guys for being here, and hey, and thank you audience for being here, and yeah, flood the chat with all the birthday wishes. I love that. Um, you guys that are new to Tech Tip Tuesday, so if you've not been here before, well, hey, welcome. I'm glad you're here for the first time, but some of you guys have been here many times and are some of our fan favorites, so thank you for being here. The way this works, it is a chat-based forum where you put all of your questions into the chat, and then Henry and Jake and myself, and sometimes the audience will unpack those questions. We will solve the mysteries. We will come up with great detail and sometimes some pretty deep dives into how we can answer these questions. So that's how it works. What we can't do, guys, is we can't treat, diagnose, prevent any diseases. We don't really talk about what programs will work with a condition. We do have resources to point you the right directions with that. But other than that, we talk about all kinds of stuff here, guys. So let's light up the chat and maybe if we can't come up with any questions, I'll sing you happy birthday, Henry. How about that?
That makes sense. Good for me.
I'll do it in my favorite, my most genuine Marilyn Monroe voice. How about that? Oh, wow. All right. Jake, you're muted, by the way, in case you're wanting to say stuff.
You
Okay.
gotta call me Mr.
I was gonna
President.
say we might have to mute you if you start singing in your Marilyn Monroe.
Right. Well, I'm the host, so I can unmute me. So I can,
That's true.
but that's fair. That's fair. You can just maybe do it. Timeout.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Okay, so what do we got for questions? Anything so far? I don't see anything just yet. So Jake, what's happening in the world of Healy as of late? Anything cool that we want to talk about?
Well, we do have frequencies and friends coming up next Monday. Yeah, the February 2nd, right? The first of the month is on a Sunday this year, so frequencies and friends is on that Monday, February 2nd. But I know we got there's always some good stuff that we announce on that call too. And I don't know that I have necessarily anything um I can reveal right now on this call here, but I do know we've had some meetings and been part of some conversations about some of the things that we're going to be launching later this year. New everything, and it's really going to, I think, really have some of the biggest impact, biggest change, improvements on the overall experience, the Healy world experience as well. So really, Henry was part of one of those meetings too, and we're both super excited about some of the things that are planned for later this year. So, but nothing I can really talk about in detail right now. So,
Until after Frequencies and Friends, you guys. So get there, be there, right?
yeah,
Maybe there's some reveal there. That's the
no.
whole point is these monthly updates. So
Hmm.
so definitely. Okay. So we do have a question here. Let's see. Well, first of all, let's sing it, right? That's what. So Yojini is saying that. So can here's the question: Can cat program pantry and kitchen run even if I'm not at particular locations? So you're talking about the MagHealy, right? Running these
Yeah.
programs. So even if you're not in the locations, think about this. Remember, where you place your attention is where you place your energy. Where you're placing frequencies. Frequencies, the cool thing about frequencies, guys, is they're really not time sensitive. They have a timing to them, but they are omnipresent indefinitely. So when you generate something, let's just go here for a second. When you have an experience in your life, right? Let's say the first time you ever had a drink of orange juice. I don't know, I'm just making this up. Can you unexperience that? Not really. You can't undo the timeline of drinking the orange juice, having the experience, liking it, disliking it, all the judgments, all the conditions that you put in there. That's an experience, right? That's a stamped, timed experience. It creates frequencies in your mind. It creates neurological blueprints in your brain. It creates neurological bundling, all kinds of things in the body in that moment. So does a frequency. It creates an experience. It goes out omnidirectionally, globally, universally, everywhere. So can you do something with the MagHealy anywhere in the world and still have an effect? It follows you. So yeah, let's say you're running the something around the kitchen or pantry, right? That program, and you're in Boston, but you live in New York. Okay, so it's the frequency around the contents or the entity of pantry of that, no matter where you are. So, anyways, that makes sense. So that's going to follow you anywhere you go. The cool thing about the MagHealy is that yes, when it's in proximity, the epicenter of its generation is right there. The epicenter meaning the magnitude of its expression is right there in the center, and then it moves out from that point outward. But whatever program you're running is still influencing the the entity, the essence, the beings that it was designed for. Um, you guys want to add?
I like the question because a lot of times you have to give the program some sort of name. Like she mentioned, some of these atmosphere programs she referred to kitchen. There's one there. There's pantry, and like the pantry one is harmonizing space around your food to create a positive environment for storing. So if you're running your MagHealy Atmosphere program and that MagHealy is not in the pantry, doesn't mean that it doesn't do anything. You know, just because and as soon as you step out of the kitchen, doesn't mean that it's not having any sort of impact. It's just a label for kind of the general idea for what the program's for. As Ken mentioned, it's not necessarily location specific there too. So, I think she mentioned car in one of the comments too. I hope you're not preparing food in the car. That might be a little bit dangerous, but hey, I guess maybe you're parked or something like that too, and kind of ready to eat a meal or something like that. Tailgating, maybe. So,
Right?
but
It
no,
is.
yeah, I like the question. It's great.
Yeah, so that's it. So when it comes to same thing, same idea, concept when we're talking about car, vehicle, we're working a program that has to do with that well, we know what a vehicle is in our mind. Even if, let's say, when you're running a vehicle or car program, um, and you drive a horse and buggy, right? It's still the
Mm.
vehicle of transportation that you're in. And believe me, I've been in there's areas where people are still driving the horse and buggy, right? Um, and so that is still valid for that transport system or that perception of vehicle, car, right? It's still we get hung up on words a lot. I know. I've heard it many times. People get hung up on words, and when we get hung up on words, we assign meaning to it, and that meaning becomes finite. And
Mm.
it isn't, because if we take a word, and all three of us guys here took a word, and the telephone game, right? You whisper in the ear about this. By the time it gets back around, maybe twice, it's something else. So the word means something in another person's perspective. It has some variances. We can all agree that's a tree, but or that's a car. But the cool thing about that assignment of meaning is it's individual perspective. And so that's cool because we get the right and the freedom to be that individual and that perspective and have that throughout every aspect of our life. And so when Healy names something, again, we have a perception of the name. It doesn't mean it's just limited by that, but each person saying the name or looking at the name, will have another, I don't know, another variance of that meaning, right? Okay.
And ultimately, speech is a man-made thing. So, and it's important to understand that it helps us, it serves us as humans, but it doesn't really define the things as they are. It's as you said, if you look at a tree, you can call a tree a dog, but it's still a tree, whether you call it a dog or a tree or a bird or a car, it's still a tree. And the same thing applies to this type of frequencies. The frequencies contained within a program will still be beneficial and will still have the properties of those frequencies regardless of the name that we give. We give these names because it helps categorize these frequencies, and it also, even beyond that, allows the human mind to establish a connection with those frequencies so that we are able to run these programs with some sort of intention, which will have an impact in the way these frequencies will uh, influence us and benefit us. So that is really where the meaning behind the names is. It's for us to be able to establish a connection with the program and say, okay, I am running this for this particular purpose. But in reality, the frequencies being run are the effects go beyond the name itself we see in the app.
Mm-hmm. 100%. Okay, so Marjorie's got a question. Here's one for you, maybe not has been asked before. So a friend who has lost a sister, had a Healy, and now would like to transfer that over, or be able to utilize her late sister's device. And sorry for the loss. Um, and how to get started. So that's a customer service thing that can be taken care of. Uh,
Mhm.
so it would just be a matter of contacting customer service, and they will guide you, right, Jake?
Yeah, they'll tell you the exact steps, but you're kind of on the right track here as far as needing the death certificate and that kind of thing. There's a couple other details. Henry, I don't remember if you remember the exact process from your days in tech support or whatever, but Harmony will actually tell you the steps too if you go to
Yeah.
the chat window as well. And then in this particular case, it would need to be handled by one of our agents too to finalize any sort of like transfer from her account to. A lot of times we'd like to have someone create a new account for yourself, and then you can just transfer the device over, sort of a thing. But we can definitely get you help with that, or your
Yeah,
friend
at
help
that
with
point,
that. Sorry.
at that point, I definitely recommend that your friend actually reaches out to us directly because it's always better when the affected user. I know it's nice to help our friends, our clients, and family members, but it's always going to be a smoother process if whoever the affected owner is the one reaching out to us directly, because that way we can request information from them. We can give them information about their account without any kind of person involved, any other third party involved. So
Yeah,
I
and it's
recommend.
Henry. Would you say it's from what I understand, it's an easier process if you're looking to just want to use her device too and create your own account and have it transferred over. That's an easier step versus say they had a business with Healy and they were earning income and that kind of stuff too. That's a little bit more complex process to get transferred over to take ownership basically of that
Mhm.
account. But if you're wanting to just she wants to use the Healy device for her own personal use and that kind of thing, that's a much more straightforward process.
And,
Yeah,
and
as a
then,
matter of fact, even if I mean, even if you already have the Healy, even if the Healy belongs to somebody else, you can literally use it even without any kind of
Yeah.
account transfer or device transfer. At least with the Healy to app, um, you'll be able to use it because you don't even need a login account. You don't need
Mhm.
any account credentials in order to use it. So you can start using it. But ideally, you always want to finalize the ownership process. So if you want to make sure the Healy belongs to whoever is going to keep the Healy so that if a replacement needs to get done or anything having to do with login credentials or anything like that, that way it's associated with the Healy.
And like Jake said too, Harmony can help you with that, which is
Yep.
the AI engine that's in the shop page. And you don't even need to
Mhm.
log in to actually start the process. I mean, you just get into the shop page, start the chat, and then that can help generate the to-do list, right? So yeah. All right. I think that's a great thing, by the way, is, now you can just get right there onto the shop page, whether you have, some people maybe have lost their login credentials, can't figure out how to get to XYZ. You just go right to the shop page now and you don't even have to log in. So already start getting some
Nice.
help.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see. We have uh, Yojini says here, thanks for that help and that question. Oh, so she says, I ran natural cycle this morning, 5 a.m. That was to be at 11 to 1, and you're feeling it. So natural cycle, you guys see that there's timing, yes? And but it doesn't mean that if you don't do it within the boundaries of that timeline that you're not going to have an effect, because you are. It still will. Yes, it's built on circadian rhythm. Yes, it's built on demographic where you are. But the 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 alignment. So I love the alignment that Healy has within its programming. The alignment is for the task at hand, natural cycle, to naturally align your cycle. And even if you do it wrong, you're going to have an effect. I mean, I've guided so many people through nutritional processes, and they've done it halfway, and sometimes the right timing and the right this and the right, and yet the body still responds, right? And it responds in kind when you do kind things to it. So when people are in, say, maybe a nutritional environment where it's not kind to the body, and you swing over to one that's more kind to the body has a response. So same thing here. When you're not within a natural cycle or process, circadian rhythm is off, your behavior patterns are wonky, whatever. And yeah, wonky is a technical term from an engineering perspective, guys. So anyway, the when you do it, even not by the boundaries of what we would call perfect, it's still going to have an effect. So as you felt that, good job. Okay, where are we, guys? Another one? Oh, I love this one again. Um, Another question. Can I run it for my kids? The MagHealy, heck yeah. I mean, it's awesome. Thinking of them, may it be in their rooms. So it's proximity. It's remember the epicenter is the MagHealy itself. That's where the strongest signal comes from. From there, it's speaking to the entire universe. I'm getting it. So go ahead, run it. I want some too, right? The more Healys we have out there running, the more information we're feeding to the field. It's just information. And it's where we're talking to the quantum field. And the field is what? The universe. It's everywhere. It's the quantum field. And so when we put g- good intentions, positive energy, uplifting frequencies into the field, it affects every living form. This is what Marcus's initial desire was, is for, a Healy in 1 million homes, right? Let's go for several million, right? Let's put one in everywhere. And the cool thing is the further we reach with Healy, the further we reach in human life or life itself, right? It's just amplified. Anything you guys want to add?
No, I mean, of course, when we're talking about running programs, of course, if you're looking to run like one of the McMakin programs too, that's of course needing to be actually put on the body. Yeah, well, I think we're all just been referring to the atmosphere programs that are designed to be used to harmonize the environment, as well. So yeah, another one, but that actually ties into the next question here, right? It says, when we run a program with the MagHealy, does it need to be on the skin? So not not like underneath your shirt on the skin, but touching the body there too. So,
Mhm.
um, but again, depending on which type of program, when we're talking about programs that are placed on the body, we're referring to the classic program, group or application, and then the McMakin. application. Of course, atmosphere, those are just designed to be, again, harmonize the environment, put on the table, put on the nightstand, whatever. And then, of course, the water application, which is the last one there too. That one is designed to inform the water with the quantum analyzed frequencies that you then drink after the 10-minute program is up. But so on the body, but not necessarily on the skin. So,
Right. If you notice, I mean, there's some variances within the hardware here.
mhm.
The Healy itself, has ports where you would plug in things for electrical connections to the body. The MagHealy does not have anything like that, right? There's no ports. And then the high wave has metallic stainless sensors on it that are designed to touch the skin. So there are things that are designed for touching the skin
Yep.
for proper effectiveness, but the MagHealy has nowhere to plug in really, except not even to plug in for charging. It's just a magnetic system. So the cool thing about that is that let's just say, like Jake said, yes, it's designed for specific programs are designed to have the MagHealy in a specific space on your body. Let's say you do that wrong. Are you going to get no effect? No, you will still get an effect, even if you do that wrong. And I don't seem wrong, but just without, beyond the parameters that are shown, manufacturers and designers must put parameters for the general public. Why? Well, general public will do all kinds of weird things. So things we haven't even thought of. So there must be boundaries. And then again, it's designed for maximizing or optimizing effectiveness. And so that's what the idea is we put it within maximum effectiveness when we place it in this spot. Does it mean it's not effective? It's over on this spot? No, it doesn't mean that. It just means we're maximizing it by this spot. Okay. So we're still making it work. All right. Let's see. Okay. And you're very welcome, by the way, everyone. And thanks for being here. I love you guys' interactions. Okay. Let's see. So Iva has one. Hello. In 6 years of using Healy, I have not encountered this except for one lady in the group. In the blue application, she does all the scans and only shows 2%. The same with the BH1 and 2. Restarting does not change anything. Otherwise, the pink app also works. She'll write to support, so to send photos. So in other words, doing a scan, only getting a 2% reading. Yeah, that's quite interesting, especially when it's repeated, when you repeat the results. Henry, have you come across this?
No, I think at that point, what I would recommend would be to discard whether it's an account issue or a device issue. So one of the things that I would recommend is to use the same Healy, but logging out of the Healy Advisor Analyze 2 app and logging in, but in demo mode. So all you have to do, you can either if you go to the settings of the app, there's going to be a logging out option. So you log out and then use the demo mode, which is going to be on the top right corner of the login screen. Alternatively, you can reinstall the app and then on the login screen, you go press demo mode. If the issue remains, even in demo mode, then at that point, there is a big chance that is the device itself. You could also try using a different phone. Again, in demo mode, I still recommend using demo mode, but in a different phone, just to confirm that maybe it's not the app or like something having to do with the phone. And if the issue then remains with a different phone with the demo mode, then I think at that point we can definitely assume the issue is definitely the Healy itself. It shouldn't just be showing 2% with everything. I think it would also be interesting to see 2% in what, because is it only in resonance analysis, in aura analysis, in coaching analysis? All of these things are important to take into consideration just to see how what the impact of the issue is, if it's just in one module or in all of the modules in a specific databases. So yeah, those would be my recommendations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the cool thing about the demo mode is just it's not assigned to any account, right? Um any analysis you do will just stay in the app, and when you close the app, it all goes away. Um, so it's just really not assigned with any particular account, meaning that it should function as far as the software is concerned, whether it's a hardware thing somewhere that's a different story. But I have not ever seen a hardware issue that um, was related to a limitation of the Healy Advisor Analyze app. I've not seen a hardware issue associated with that, except for maybe a Healy's battery that went dead, right? You know that. But if the Healy powered up, then as that piece of hardware, I've never seen that be an issue associated with the Heal Advisor Analyze app. It's usually always been a software issue. So again, first, like Henry said, first order of business would be to not use your account, because then that's the other part of that equation. It's still software related, which is your account. And so by going to a generic account, then you've eliminated that. So it's just a process of elimination, right? That's how we engineers work stuff. As a tech, you just cross that one off. That's not it.
Yeah.
Okay. So Yojini's got another question about the natural cycle. Yeah, I have another question about the natural cycle. How to calculate it for another member of my family, how to calculate their starting date. And because I like the Rainbow app. I love that one. This is the Wavy app, that we have here, the Heal Advisor app. Rainbow app. I like that. That's a new name. Um, it connects to your account and calculates your start date. Exactly. And that's what it's supposed to do. But remember, it's based on the hemisphere that you're at, the circadian rhythm you're in. So if they're in the same hemisphere, it's the same schedule. Right? So that's pretty easy. Yeah, it'd be the same one. Okay. And then she's also asking, can I create a YouTube channel for our collective and run for our tribe? Yes. Actually, you don't even need to create a YouTube channel. You can just create a group, right? But you can create if you're trying to do it. So think about this for a minute. When we're interfacing, I don't care with what, with who, with where. When you're interfacing, where you place your attention is where you place your energy. You're instantly interfaced and locked in. Now, the more focused you are on that interface, in other words, you're focusing on we're focusing on each other, and all of a sudden I think, well, what am I going to have for dinner tonight? Or who's going to win the Super Bowl? Woohoo, right? And if I start going there, I'm not really interfacing with you. Where you place your attention is where you place your energy. So when you create a group and you place your attention collectively, each other. Now, I don't know, many of you guys that follow me know I'm a Dr. Joe Dispenza fan and practitioner for many, many years, and they just posted a study on on intention and more or less in terms of group intention and how that has a frequency and a power, an amplification power. And they partnered up with HeartMath Institute using random noise generators, which guess what Healy uses? Boom, baby, random noise generator to interface with consciousness. And they partnered with HeartMath, which HeartMath Institute has random noise generator banks all over the planet, right? And then when Dr. Joe does his events, they have them on the stage. These are just random systems that they use as evidence-based generators to find out how consciousness influences the space. And it's found that the consciousness, a collective consciousness, a collective group on the same frequency, the same wavelength, affects the world, right? I mean, that to me is super powerful. That is an article that was just written, just published. They use it in what they call coherence healing. This is where Healy works. It works with a random generator that's built in. It's a circuitry. It's an electronic circuitry that human consciousness interfaces with. That's what's used to influence the outcome or the results of an analysis when you're doing these system analyses. So does that make sense? So this, I mean, yes, definitely collect your group. It's great as a group to have an intention, whether it's written, whether it's verbal, whether you're on screen. The cool thing about on screens, we can see each other, and that has another field of energy influence. We are 74% visual communicators, right? It's we use the eyes a lot. So that's a big one. And if it's on YouTube, you have a group or something like that, that's even, another level of effectiveness. But yes. Okay.
We did some stuff with well, it was on a Zoom call. Remember it was over a year ago now, but we did the Zoom call where we put everyone together and we took a picture like that and we performed the analysis during the call and started vibrating the results. But too, there's been a lot of great results from people have had by doing these sort of group sessions also too. And as when you do create a new client in the Analyze 2 up, there is that option for group too as one of the categories too. So yeah, it's definitely one of the intended purposes for or capabilities for that app. So
I remember when Healy first came out, it was all about individual. It's a personable, wearable system, and then the analysis thing, and then people were like, "Well, how can we do remote stuff?" And man, early on, I did a bunch of training on how to do remote. I understand the quantum field. I've done a lot of work in quantum science, and how it affects us epigenetically. So genetically, our DNA, when it's expressed 3% of that is fixed. 3% of that genetic code is fixed, saying that my skin, my bones, my eye color, my hair color, my everything is going to be still like me. But 97% of that code is an adaptive gene reading the environment, and it reads the language of frequency. It reads that. And then that embodies that 97% of that genetic code and locks it in to create the cell. So this is where Healy works, is within that 97% of the adaptive gene and frequency and information. When I say frequency and information, it's the same. Just put those as the same thing, because that's informing through a particular signal, and that's information. So very, very effective. Okay, where are we at? Okay, so Iva says that I haven't tried it in the demo, but I've tried it on other phones. Unfortunately, the same. Okay, so yes, so now we want to eliminate your account out of the equation. So you've used it on other hardware devices and still the same results, but now we want to take the account out of the equation and see if it's still software. Let's just take a look. Okay, good job. All right. Okay. Yojini says, I've seen Tesla coil for a collective. So, this is where we get a lot of information is again, these quotes and these understandings that were created back in, 100 years ago, understanding what was possible and today not rediscovering it, but re-amplifying it, right? We know what's possible from an energetic field, the kind of non-contemporary, I think, but we know what's possible. Okay. Okay, here is a practical question. See, Virgie's asking, the MagHealy Kidney program, say, switch it from left to right, right to left. Is that important? Well, how many kidneys? Well, is it important? Sure. Is it absolutely necessary? Not necessarily. But you have a left and right, right? Your kidneys. How many kidneys you got? Okay, so we're looking at trying to communicate specifically with the highest amount of energy and optimize the energy for each. Does that mean that it's not effective in the middle or to the left or the right? No, it doesn't mean that. just means getting maximum effectiveness, right, for the session. Or one session on one kidney and one session on the other, right?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, because these aren't, you run the program once and then you're done. If you're trying to address a particular topic over a period of time, you're probably going to run this maybe a couple times per week. So yeah, there's no harm in alternating it from one session left or a session right, back and forth sort of thing. Or as Ken mentioned, just in the middle. So,
Yeah. Remember what I said? So here's the MagHealy, right? And when you set it somewhere, the transmission of the frequency, let's just say that it's the very exact center of this. Maybe it's to the left or right, but let's just say it's right in the middle. That's what we call the epicenter, the transmitting emitter of the frequency. And it goes from there omnidirectionally, like a globe, not like a circle, but like a ball. It goes like a globe omnidirectionally, spherically, everywhere, and it expands out like that. So up to 3 meters, right? So, well, it goes universally. It from the quantum perspective, it goes forever. But for maximizing effectiveness, let's just say that it's this big ball. All right. So here's the fun part. If you're sitting on someone's lap or someone's sitting on your lap and you're using the MagHealy, they're getting it too, right? I mean, parents out there, you got your little baby, right? And so they're getting it also. Okay. Or even lovebirds are sitting on each other's lap. Run some of those coherent frequencies, right? Um, okay, so Dory's got a question here, or a statement that says, I have two Healys. One blinks quickly and shuts off. Okay, that's normal. You get quick flashes and then off it goes. Let's see, when the battery's low, that happens. Okay, one just acts normal, so I have to try to run a program and find out that the battery is low. So in other words, you've got two Healys. One of them, when you go to turn on, it blinks quickly and shuts off. And the other one, you turn on, it begins to start a program and then stops. Okay, so that means that the second one isn't quite to the same battery lowness as the first one, right? So the battery has to get down to a very specific voltage, right? Before that that multiple flash and then goes on. So you could start a program and then it shut down because it didn't have enough life, or it will say, we can't run a program because it's not enough battery. Right, Henry, you've encountered this many times, yeah?
Yeah, what may be happening, and again, I don't really know, Dory, if this is something that has just been consistently happening with the same Healy, or if this is just like a new issue you encounter. But what I would say is that if it's a new issue, right, and you're not consistently finding this issue with that Healy, and let's see, I can say still do that, and never blinks again, never has. So yeah, what I was gonna suggest is to ensure that you charge it until you're at least able to run a full program, so that it eventually just runs out of battery. Because what can happen is that if the Healy it still has enough battery to turn on, but it doesn't blink quickly when you press it, all it's gonna do is that it's gonna tell you that it doesn't have enough battery to run a program. So that may happen, which is what's happening to you. My advice would be to, once again, charge it again, maybe doing a hard reset. I don't know if you already tried the hard reset. I imagine that you probably have. If not, then at that point, it just may be, to a certain degree, a hardware issue. I don't know if you're experiencing any other issues with that Healy, like how many programs you're able to run with that Healy that it's doing that. But if you're experiencing any other type of issue, battery-related issue with that Healy, then I would assume that there may be an issue with the battery. At that point, it may be worth reaching out to us for support. If you're still okay, so no other issues, so you're still able to run the regular number of programs. So yeah, I did at that point. Really, the only thing I can suggest is just to do a hard reset while your Healy is charging, waiting until it's fully charged, and then waiting to see if you manage. So like when there's like 10% left of battery, make sure that you run a really long program so that the battery runs out as the program is transmitted, so that you make sure that there's no battery left. Like you really want to make sure that it's just running as like it basically runs out of battery with the program that you're running. Again, from what you're saying, you may have already tried this, but it's still worth a try. And then at that point, yeah, if the heal is working as expected, then at this point, would really make sense to it says 0. Okay, got it. Yeah, so it seems like it's not blinking quickly like with the other ones. Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's an abnormal behavior. At that point, honestly, I would recommend maybe reaching out to a technical support team and see what they say. See if they, if this would fall under the category of replacing the device. But again, since you're not experiencing any other serious issues with the Healy, I don't really know if it would be worth it.
Yeah, um, we do have that battery reset protocol, um, which does kind of do a reprogramming, resetting of battery charge cycle. That would be worth an effort for sure, and multiple times. So again, this is kind of time consuming to do that because you need to um, run the battery reset protocol like maybe 3 times, and it requires you to, attempt to do the charge, drain it all the way down, do the reset, attempt to do the charge, drain it all the way down, do the reset. So that's kind of a back to back series. Um, we do have that battery reset protocol. It can you post that, Henry? Do you know where that is?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, we have a short clip that goes
Video.
over that. So let me go ahead and share that.
Yeah. So that'll be a good one to do multiple times on that device before you give up on it. Right. And here's the other thing, folks. I want you to understand um, the charging box, the adapter that's plugged into the wall, even though you've used it over and over and over again, and it's been reliable, whatever, use a different one. Right. If you have a new one, or even a higher output one, try that first, because these little charging cubes that we use, they're not a smart cube. I mean, you can buy these chargers that are they're digitally controlled, and they're not cheap, by the way. They're expensive because they actually have hardware inside that regulates output, monitors battery, and adjusts accordingly. Okay, this is a smart charger, and most of the chargers that we're using at home are not smart chargers. They're just a little cube, little box, little something that just changes one voltage to another and then has a specific output. And those outputs oftentimes are low current. You might have the same voltage, so everybody understand voltage and current are a little bit different. Voltage is the number that we're measuring between the two posts. So that is say 120 volts AC coming out of the outlet, right? We're measuring that's 120 volts. That's the number of that's what we call in engineering terms potential difference, okay, between the two posts. But when current flows from one to the other, energy flows from one side to the other, that's current flow. That's the amperage they can sustain. Okay. So a little box you plug into the wall, it converts that one voltage, 120, down to 5. But it's also converting from AC, alternating current, which is what Nikola Tesla discovered, down to DC, which is called direct current. It's different. And then how much DC voltage is out and how much current it provides, the DC voltage will be the same, but the current can be different. And the lower the current output, the longer it takes to charge, the more I like to say it's not efficient when it comes to the newer batteries. We still have old charge blocks and newer battery systems. Okay, so um, smart chargers work better. change out your box and see how that changes things. Make sense? Okay. Did we miss anybody? Oh, here's one. So Yojini's asking, how many programs a day of bioenergetic defense can be run in a day? As there are no cords needed, sometimes I run more than 4 or 5 without the cords. So you're right. The Bioenergetic Defense page, if you notice how you use those programs with the hardware, you just clip the device on your body. There's no connections, no nothing. And so that should be a clue, by the way, everybody. Because that Bioenergetic Defense on the Pink app, that page is designed to be cordless, meaning that the Healy is transmitting frequencies even from the Pink app, right? Without the cords. Think about that for a second. It's doing it anyway. On all of those apps, the Healy is transmitting a frequency all the time, right? When it's running these programs from the Pink app. You're just connecting with the wires so that that same frequency output from the frequency generator is also piggybacked on the electron flow going through your body. So you're getting both anyway. Anyway, so how many can you do? Listen to your body. Listen to your body. You're doing 4 or 5? Great. How do you feel? How do you feel? And sometimes it's like, okay, well, I don't know. I feel good, except for I might have a little stiff neck. I got a little bit of a headache. I have to, well, those stiff necks, that headache, that brain fog could be a sign of detox, meaning that your body's having there's an effect from the frequencies and your body's shedding and detoxing. You need to up your water load. If you're doing more programs per day like that, you need to up your water. You need to get that up there. And a good rule of thumb, folks, is when you wake up in the morning, 8 ounces of water. That's it. Don't put anything else in your body. No coffee, no bagel, right? No Red Bull. Come on, you guys. 8 ounces of water when you wake up, when you first wake up and get up in the morning, 8 ounces of water is better than coffee because that's when you wake up, you're two things. You're dehydrated and malnourished. Why? Because the body used every bit of its resources that you gave it yesterday to rebuild you all night so that you can start fresh in the morning today, right? So pound the water and then continue to drink all through the day until roughly the mother load should be before about 5 p.m. The mother load of your water. And what's the mother load? It's half your body weight in ounces of water. Half your body weight. Folks, if you weigh 100 pounds, do the math. Come on. You don't need a calculator. Just half your body weight. If you're 100 pounds, that's 50 ounces in a day from the moment you wake up to 5 p.m. at night. Okay? Get that water in. Now, not all of it at 4:30, guys. Come on. Let's spread it out. There is an equation for how many ounces per hour. I'm not going to go into that. Just do your own regulation, right? Get that water in, and that's going to make a big difference. So running 4 or 5 programs from the Bioenergetic Defense page, again, it's a magnetic field emission. Your body is its own intelligence. When you're receiving a frequency transmission, like you're receiving a frequency transmission right now called my voice, right? It's going through this microphone, through the technology, broadcast out into the universe, and you guys are picking it up. It's going from your speaker through airwaves into your ear and doing its work. Your brain is decoding the content. It's a frequency. The frequency has amplitude, has variations, it has various types of content information on it. That's my voice. So you're receiving that from your auditorial system in your body. You're also receiving information through the optic nerve. That's light waves from your screen moving through space, through the air, and your optic nerve is receiving that, your brain's decoding it, another frequency. Healy is transmitting frequencies, right? And your body's decoding that, but your body, as the skin and the covering of the body, the entire body is an antenna. It's an antenna, walking, talking antenna. And it uses the water. Basically, you are a water and mineral antenna. And your body receives this information, magnetic waves hit the body. The body then The antenna transmits that magnetic wave into electron flow, which is where the information is on the electron, and then the body decodes it. So the body's intelligence decodes it and utilizes it as needed. So if it's starting to generate a detox profile, headaches, stiffness, brain fog, maybe even nausea, that means that your body's trying to get rid of things. You need to up your water. And the rate of change, the detoxification rate to body's ability to excrete is overloaded. Think about that. The body's detox trigger and its ability to excrete is overloaded. It's not, the ratio is not even. That's why you're feeling discomfort. But that's okay. It's not going to hurt you. Just up the water and increase the movement of your body. Okay. All right. Guys, you want to add anything to that?
No, I think you explained it very well. I completely agree. Um, but I mean, the only thing I would say is that beyond the physical aspect of how many programs you should run, I think there's also a mental aspect to it, because I don't think it's ideal that the users are constantly running programs without any kind of intention or any degree of mindfulness when it comes to running these programs. I think that it's important that if you're running a program that you're intentional with it and you understand that the Heal is not really something that it's designed for you to use one day or two or three and say, all right, I'm gonna run 10 days, 10 programs today because I really want to get rid of this issue as soon as possible. You have a whole life ahead of you, so it's important to keep in mind that just like when you exercise and you do whether it's 30 minutes of exercise, 1 hour exercise, 2 hours of exercise, it's not really about spending 10 hours exercising or in a gym hoping that in 1 week you're all jacked or healthy, you know. The whole idea is that same thing with Healy, that progressively you will start improving your habits, you start improving your energy levels, your well-being. And I am the kind of person who thinks that the Heal Advisor app is designed so that you run up to 3 programs per day, all of them spaced out. So one in the morning, one in the afternoon, one in the evening, and the app will not let you have more than that. And I genuinely think it's because it's intended so that you are mindful of the number of programs that you're running so that you don't run 5 or 6 or 7 programs just for the sake of running them. So I do think that is important. I don't really recommend ever running more than 3 programs per day. I think it allows you to become more consistent with the device, with the technology, and it's overall more gentle in your body, and it allows you to be more intentional with whatever program that you run. Since you're only running up to 3 programs, you say, well, I better make it worth it with those 3 programs that I'm running. So that's my take on this.
And I love what you said there, Henry, is improving habits. Remember, I mean, folks, your body is whatever age you are and whatever condition you're working on, right? We're using tools to try to work on that, and Healy is just a tool. It should not be your crutch. It's a tool, it's an asset, it's a partner, it's an ally. If it's a crutch, that means you're using it probably too much, relying on it as the thing to fix me. You fix you. Your body fixes you. We're just using these tools to do so, and building these habits, right? Behavior, lifestyle changes. This is we got to a certain point in our life at this moment in time because of lifestyle. And if it's caused disease, disorder, dysfunction, something we don't desire, all those D's, then that means that we need to really allow the time to reorganize, change the lifestyle. Lifestyle is it's what you do most of the time that affects you, not once or twice. So what you do most of the time, and what Henry was talking about is like, 3 programs a day consistently. Now, I know people who are doing a scan every day and multiple times a day. I'm like, okay, hold on a minute. Every moment in time, every moment in time is an individual presence, one snapshot of your life. And that snapshot will affect the next, and so on and so on. It's an inverse pyramid. Every experience builds upon the other. And when we do a scan in one moment and a scan in another moment, what we did first has affected number 2. And the moment of, I don't care what kind of response you're in, emotional response, that moment's going to have an effect on the scan as well. The body is a three-dimensional being in space and time. That's the body. The body is the end result, ladies and gentlemen, of the quantum field perfection blueprint of you. The body's the last of all that. You have a perfect impression in the quantum field of you, every asset of you, every essence of you. The filtering mechanism between the perfect blueprint and the three-dimensional body that's you today in this moment is consciousness, your consciousness. And what you think, what you believe, and what you feel is going to have an influence on that. So by taking responsibility for that, right? How we think. What are you thinking right now? Right? What kind of feelings are you generating right now? Where are you in your life right now? That's creating the three-dimensional body right now. We're using these tools to try to work on the body. Use these tools to work on the mind, on the consciousness. Do you understand? And rearrange that consciousness and watch how more effective these tools are. I promise you, the mind will outweigh any frequency that Healy transmits. The point is that, being patient and having grace in your life is really going to make a big difference, folks. All right. We're almost done. 2 minutes, guys. Anything you want to add or contribute? I think we got all the questions answered, didn't we? Oh, by the way, folks, if you want to save this chat, you can. So if you're on your computer, laptop, not on mobile phone, but in the chat box, it says Healy Tech Tip Tuesday, and there's 3 little dots over there on the right. Click on those, and it'll be a drop-down menu. It says Save Chat. Click on that, and when at the end of our call, there'll be a pop-up on your screen that lets you save the chat. So you'll have the link that Henry provided, any questions that are in there. Also, Jake's team, they build this, they put this together, and the recording comes out on YouTube, and every question is time-stamped, right, with the question, and you can go to that part of the video and exclusively listen to that question and that answer. So that comes out, within a couple days or even less. It's pretty fast. So that recording is on the YouTube channel. You want to put that link in the chat for the YouTube guys?
Absolutely.
And then you guys will have that too. If you haven't been there, definitely go there. That channel is incredible, not just because Tech Tip Tuesday is on there, which that's a good enough reason, but because there's all kinds of other cool videos and trainings in that Healy YouTube channel. Let's see. Dory says, I don't understand what a smart charger is. Sorry, I confused you. A smart charger it's just usually it's got multiple outputs, right? A smart charger is just something that allows you to plug multiple devices in, and it through internal circuitry um, evenly spreads the current output to all the devices. Um, so it's just a little bit more elaborate than just the little blocks, the little cubes that we have. You know what I mean? And typically sometimes they have some kind of a little LEDs on them showing which port is being activated when you plug in. Some of them may even have digital readouts. They're just more elaborate. Okay. Does that make sense? Pretty simple. They also can convert, say, from one environment to another. For instance, Europe has a different frequency and different plug-in stuff. So they're very elaborate. I'm not saying everybody needs one. Just understand there's these differences. We could go down an entire rabbit hole of learning about chargers. Not needed though. Okay.
The only other question that I think we did not answer, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Ken, is I know I saw that Eva asked how to reset the MagHealy. I don't know if we went over that.
Oh, we did not go over that, and good to catch that because they're really, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So unlike the Healy, which you do have the option to do the hard reset with the by pressing and holding the Healy device, the MagHealy is really as simple as ensuring that there's no electricity going to the MagHealy. So you can either disconnect it from the power or lifting it up from the base, then switching it to position one. You want to keep it like that for at least a couple seconds. Usually I recommend maybe anywhere between 10 seconds to 1 minute just to make sure that everything is nice and settled, and then you go back and turn it on. So it doesn't really have any sort of reset mechanism like the reset, like the Healy. It's just unplugging it, switching position one, waiting a little bit, and then turn it on again. Simple as that.
So it means just don't put it on the charger. Take it off the charger. Position one on the switch. I always like to say 30 seconds is a good rule of thumb for anything that powers down. Uh, and then turn it on. So and you're done. For those of you who are leaving your MagHealy on the base all the time, overnight, all that kind of thing, it's not good practice. It's good practice to let that guy go completely drain the battery all the way down, cycle it um, on and off like that more often than not. So leaving it on the base all the time is not a proper way to use the system. It does not benefit the battery. So in your week, making the times in which you leave it all night long on the charger, make those 30% of the time. I like a 20%, but I'll give you a little grace, but 30% of the time. And then 70% of the time you let it go completely dead without it being on the charging base. And that's including doing your all night thing. Charge it fully, do it all night, let it die. In the night it will. And then recharge it the next day. Remember, folks, this is also a tool. If sleep habits and behaviors are affected in your life, lifestyle is also necessary, right? So please take a look at lifestyle and let's just make it amazing. Let's send some great frequencies out there to each other and receive all the frequencies from another. All right, guys. Thank you very much for being here. Big love. Um, don't forget frequencies and friends. And we'll see you for Tech Tip Tuesday next week
Yeah, in February.
in February. New month, the month of
Yeah.
love, everyone.
And happy
Okay.
birthday again, Henry.
Happy birthday, Henry. All
Thank
right,
you so
guys.
much. Thank you.
Thanks for being here, everybody. And
Um,
make sure you got that chat saved. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.